Hey everyone, and welcome to the second video about my daughter, or more about my wife and my daughter. And yeah, it's a sort of a reacting video to the video of my wife. If you haven't, watch the video of my wife now, because otherwise you won't get what it's all about. I told you about the birth of my daughter in the video before, and everything that's happened after is a bit strange for me. Again, all of that I'm talking about doesn't make sense if you haven't watched the video of my wife, so do it right now. Link there and everywhere. I didn't get that at all. I had no clue what's going on, and I can hit myself extremely hard for that. My wife told me about all this depression thing like 2 weeks after, and I had no clue whatsoever. And again, I can hit myself extremely hard for this, knowing I couldn't have done anything different, and I couldn't have seen it coming or being at all. As I said in the last video, there's about the birth, there's this situation where I asked my wife to come home 36 hours after the birth. She is saying, and I guess she's right there, why should she lie, that it's been her wish to come home. And I can hit myself because I asked her as well to come home. If I might have convinced her to stay in the hospital, everything might have been completely different. But it's not about what might have been and not might have been. It's about how I deal with all that. And this is again what this channel is about, the view of me as the husband or the father in that very situation. And currently I'm sitting at home and thinking if anything would be different if I'd understand the situation and dealt with the situation differently. And I actually checked with a very, very good friend of mine who studied pedagogics, and he actually said, well, don't worry, all kids are different, and you really can't tell if your kid is crying more because there's been a deficit, or if it's just a crying baby. Because Aaron never cried, and Elizabeth does, and it pretty sure it's just her character, which is different and louder and more demanding than Aaron is. But pretty much in every situation she's crying, I'm like, did I fail on that situation we had there? And I know the answer is no, I didn't fail, but it's going through my head all the time. And I think the only way around this is to communicate with your wife, and this is what I do, or what we do. We talk about this, and this is something really, really important. And the video of my wife is to get attention to that problem, to that post-birth depression. And I like to raise attention once more to all the husbands out there checking on their wife, because this is a big issue. And if you get it as soon as possible, you can work in it as soon as possible, and be more healthy at the very end. And this is important. This is really, really important, to be healthy. And yeah. So I like to tell myself there's nothing wrong which we didn't fix in the long run, because Elizabeth loves her daughter, her mother, as much as Aaron did. She's a mother kid as much as Aaron was. Again, another video why you're just a father. And she loves me the same way Aaron did back then. So there's nothing different that much between these two. And so I'd like to tell myself everything is fine. And this is all I can do. Tell myself everything is fine. Because everything else would just make me go nuts. And there's nothing I want to do to hit myself that hard. So this is a video without conclusion, because there is none. The only thing I want to do with this video is to tell you, the fathers, and as well the lovely, lovely mothers out there, be aware of that issue. And yeah, saying take care is the wrong phrase, because there's not much you can do than just raise the topic and talk about it, or and in the long run check on a doctor, maybe, if you can't solve the problem yourself, which is what most people do, I guess. That's what my friend told me. Yeah, check on that. Be aware. Yeah, first of all, be aware that this is the thing, and it's not something made up. There is this depression problem. Be aware it might hit you, or might hit your family. And I guess it's even harder to understand that you're in the situation when you have two kids. Because, as my wife said, she worked a little bit around Aaron. And all I saw was my wife is taking care of my daughter. That's what I saw. I didn't see that she's doing the stuff she did, like walking around with her and feeding her and whatever. For me, it looked like she does it to calm her down for the sake of Elizabeth. But what she did is calm Elizabeth down for the sake of Aaron, which is the wrong way around. So yeah, be aware that you might not get it in the very on first sight, but be aware that it might happen, because I wasn't, and I was struck by lightning when she told me afterwards. And she will not tell you in that very moment. This is something you have to see, because probably your wife doesn't know as well. Yeah, so this is just watch out, kids video, and you're not kids. Be prepared, be aware, and be a healthy family and a loving family. So yeah, next video will be more fun. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you like this sort of content, tell your friends and hit the subscribe button down below. Also check on my wife's channel. I said it a ton of times. Watch the video. If you haven't now, watch the video of my wife now. And thanks ever so much for watching, and see you next week. Bye bye.